Hey everyone, if you are new here to Bra We Got This, or even an existing viewer, go ahead and go check out me and Joe's podcast over at Lagged Out Podcast on YouTube and iTunes, and it's also on SoundCloud. We talk about video games, movies, and other entertainment topics, so you guys should go check that out if you guys want to listen to that. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hey, what's up everyone? This is Adam here with Bra We Got This, and today I'm bringing you guys another ESO guide. Today, it is the second version of my crafting guide, which I'm calling it the Master Crafting Guide. I told you guys I would make that for you guys a while back, and now that I'm making ESO videos again, I am here with what I would call Master Crafting Guide, or just advanced things that I believe you should know about crafting that I could not cover in my Beginner's Crafting Guide. That guide was pretty long, and this one I'm hoping to keep it a little shorter if I can, but I want to try to help you guys out as much as possible because the crafting skills are very, very hard to understand sometimes for newer players. And if you want to get into master crafting, I want to try to help you guys do that. Just to let you guys know, there will be timestamps in this video description, so I will have it broken up into sections. So if you want to skip to those, you can look in the description and you can go directly to those. I'll title those whatever I deem is the right name for it. But you guys can go to those timestamps if you guys want to skip to other parts of the video. To start off, I want to talk about the add-ons I use. If you're on PC, that makes things a lot easier when it comes to crafting larger quantities and just doing things faster. The add-ons that I use are Craft Store, Potion Maker, Dol Gubon's Lazy Writ Crafter, I don't know if I said that right, and Multicraft. Now, some of them are out of date, but you can still use them. Craft Store, you'll see later on in the guide. It really helps with enchanting and potions and provisioning. Multicraft allows you to craft multiple things. I do believe they might have an update that lets you do that now, like more easily, but it's still not a bad add-on to have. Craft Store lets you look at all known traits and recipes and blueprints that you have on all characters account wide, and it's really nice. So if you want to research things on your or items on your other characters, you can actually do that by looking at the Craft Store. And this is the interface right here that you'll see. You can see check marks next to everything that you have on this character. You can see what you don't have recipe wise. You can switch your characters. It's a really, really nice tool to use, and I really like it. And then the Dol Gubon's Lazy Writ Crafter is also amazing. So what it allows you to do is it just automatically pulls off writs from the writ board, and then you basically just go to a table and it just completes it for you. It's really insane. I love it, and it's just really easy, and you don't have to really worry about doing anything basically. So I would recommend getting those if you are on PC or can have add-ons. Now, to get into the meat of things, crafting is a massive part of the game, and it's a beast to comprehend. If you haven't checked out my beginner crafting guide, there will be a link in the description that will take you there to understand the basics. So with saying that, what is considered to be master crafting? In my opinion, well, master crafting is technically when you know all traits of every single item in the game, which allows you to create anything for anyone. It could also mean reaching level 50 in all the professions, allowing you to receive master writs. And that is going to be the first thing that we talk about, even though you just saw a little bit about it, is what are master writs. These are writs in addition to your normal writs you get at level 50 that can give you writ vouchers as a reward. Here's what one of them looks like. When you turn in one of your normal writs, you have a chance of receiving a sealed writ. You will see that it tells you a specific item to craft, whether it being a specific set, quality, and trait. Usually the higher quality of the writs will yield you more writ vouchers. So as you see in this one, it says craft a ruby ash bow, quality legendary, trait precise, set, vampire's kiss, style, elder, argonian, and it gives me 56 writ vouchers. So with these writ vouchers, you can take them to a master crafting writ merchant. The one I go to is an Elden Root. There'll be an achievement vendor as well here, and they will allow you to trade vouchers for other items as well. So you'll see in this vendor, you can get an alchemy station, you can get an animus stone, which creates combat dummies to help you figure out DPS. You can get attunable blacksmithing stations, and clothing stations and woodworking stations, which we'll talk about a little later in the guide and what those are. You can get motif pages for ebony daggers. You can get the whole glass style. You can get the whole ebony style. You can get materials. You can get furniture pieces, all sorts of things from that. And then with the achievement one, with Faustina Curio, you can get even more things, furniture, diagrams, just things that give you random furniture. You can get an outfit station, jewelry crafting station. So as you can see, these take writ vouchers. This takes 125 to get a jewelry crafting station. So that is something that you can use your writ vouchers on. Now you'll also notice that in the sealed writ vouchers that they are tradable until you open them. So if you decide to open them, they're no longer tradable. But if you have a trading add-on, or if you go to any sort of guild store, you can see that this sealed provisioning writ voucher is worth about 1K roughly on average. I'd say about 2K. But some people sell them and they never craft them. And if they feel they aren't worth it, then that's probably why they sell them, or they just don't want to do anything with them because they just want to make money, which is perfectly fine. So I'll leave that up to you all what you decide to do with that. But I will tell you that the average rate of writ vouchers usually is around 1K gold per one writ voucher. So if a voucher is worth 98 vouchers, it would be 98K roughly. That's what I kind of go off of. If it changes, I'll try to let you guys know, but that's what the rate I try to go off of. So if you're wondering, are there any of these that aren't worth it? Yes, there are writs that aren't worth it, and they are basically all jewelry writs. Jewelry writs have always, since release, never really been worth it. The reason being is if you have a gold jewelry writ, which right here I'm showing you a purple one, but if you have a gold one, the amount of gold upgrade mats, which is chromium plating, to get a 100% upgrade from purple to yellow, will run you about 240k gold, which is insane. And that's actually down from what it was before. They made it to where you only need 4 chromium plating to upgrade from purple to yellow, but 240k is insane. And so no one usually does jewelry writs, which is why they aren't worth anything. Like this one right here, 77 writ vouchers for an average of 264 gold. If that was any other writ, that might be like 50 to 70k. It just depends. But because even the purple mats aren't cheap either. So jewelry writs are seriously not worth it unless you are just beyond rich in this game or you have all the materials. Because they do give a lot of writ vouchers, but they're just not worth it for the money you have to put into it, in my opinion. Because with that money, you could almost buy some of the things that are in the master writ merchant, like some of the tables or whatever. So you have to kind of decide if you want to spend the gold to do those. Segue into the next topic, it kind of picks up off doing master writs. If you all want to be master crafters and want to be able to make all types of gear for you and your friends, and even sell your services to other random people, I recommend making alt characters, or people call them Toons. What these characters are, they're just characters that are made to simply do daily crafting writs or daily things in general. You level them up to 50 in each of the professions, or maybe only a couple if you want. And what this does, it will get you an insane amount of materials for crafting, resins, which we will talk about a little more later. It'll get you writ vouchers or master writs to turn into gold, and just gold in general from doing all these writs. This is something I highly recommend once you get your feet wet in the game and decide you want to be a master crafter. Mats are always a commodity, and we will talk about why they are a little later in the guide. So let's talk about researching. Again, this is so important. And if you've watched my beginner crafting guide, I said start researching at the beginning. You will thank me later. Researching drives the ability to allow you to craft more things in this game, and basically holds the key to just everything crafting in general, in my opinion. That means, again, prioritize upgrading skills in the research tree of the crafting screen so you can research more things at once. once you do this, any item that has a magnifying glass next to it, save it and research it. This will exponentially get longer real time as you have more researched items. Now, what this allows is you to craft set specific gear. There are tons of crafting set tables all over Tamriel with this symbol right here. It's like this little campfire symbol, these right here. And if you have certain add-ons, this will also tell you the set that it is. Like this is Histbark. I'm at Magnus's Gift right now. There's also White Strake's Retribution up here. There are so many sets in this game that you can craft. It's insane. So for instance, each zone, like the Ebonheart Pact, Daggerfall Covenant, Ultramarine Dominion, have set tables in them that are in each of the zones. So like Vampire Kiss's set table in Ultramarine Dominion is here, and that is in Malabator. And then for Daggerfall Covenant, Vampire Kiss is right here in the Alkir Desert. So that's something to keep in mind, but there are a lot everywhere throughout Tamriel, and they're very useful for a lot of things. So obviously there's a catch when crafting set-specific gear. You're not just allowed to craft any set-specific gear. You have to have traits researched. So if you look at Magnus's Gift, it says 5 items need to be researched in order to make an item from this set. So if I were to go to the clothing station table, and I were to go to create, and then I go to, let's just go to the, let's go to boots, and then let's do the highest leather I can. So Rubido leather 160. I have to have 5 traits researched on boots to craft a set of boots for this set. That goes with any other item that is in any set. So basically to craft that I have to have 5 traits. That I have to have 5 traits. So there are a lot of tables out there that require 5, 6. Some tables require 8, 9. So it's all dependent on that, and that's why researching is so important. Because if you want to be able to craft some of these sets, you need to be able to have things researched to do that. And I will say that some of these sets, like Magnus's Gift, is not a bad set. It's used in the in-game for some people. It is a great beginner in-game set. It's a good intermediate set. There are a decent amount of sets that are in-game material that people use. There's Julianos, there's Magnus's Gift, there's Hunding's Rage. There's a good bit of sets that for beginning players in the in-game and just even intermediate players that use some of them, they're very useful. And there's some builds that use them all the way in the end of their in-game build. So sometimes they get, obviously outclassed by raid gears or dungeon gear, but they are used. And so it is important if you want to be a master crafter to research. I'm telling you, because you will need to make these sets for people. And a lot of people request training sets, and training sets are used from some of these. So like Hunting's Rage is used for a training set. Sometimes Magnus's Gift as well, Julianos. It just depends on the type of build they're using. If it's stamina, magicka, whatever they're using, people will require training sets, and that helps them be able to train and get experience quicker because they put the training trait on the set. So again, research, and research. I'm telling you, it will save you guys in this game with crafting a lot of time. Now, the only tip that I can give you about researching in this game, faster researching, is buying your researchable items you need from guild stores. I just collected mine through questing. I personally like this way better just because you're actually doing something as well while collecting those. But if you start to get to the point where you only need like 2 traits, then try to buy some off guild stores. It will be easier that way, and it's just something that, if you're trying to get 1 trait off 1 item randomly, you might not get that for a while. So just buy them off the store. Make sure to always use your research scrolls that you get from, login rewards or any that you buy to speed up researching, because it does take a long time to get items researched once you get more and more things unlocked from it. So now let's talk about the Nirnhoned Trait. This is probably the most annoying trait to get for all your weapons and armor in the game, and a lot of people don't really understand how to do it. It's only something that appears in the Craglorn area. The Craglorn area is right here. This is the group questing area. You'll see there's plus icons, there's a ton of world bosses, ton of group delves. You can only get Nirnhoned Trait items from this zone. You will also only get one Nirnhoned piece per character when you complete the Craglorn main story, and it's a random one. So let that sink in. It's one piece per character and random, and there are like tons of pieces of armor and weapons, so that will take forever. So with that being said, the best way to get all of these is just to buy them on Guild Traders merchant pages, or have someone make them for you. They, however, are very pricey and aren't super cheap by no means, so just keep that in mind. Now, both stones to craft Nirnhoned drop in Craglorn as well, and they drop from nodes. You can also buy these as well in the store, but just keep in mind that you can get those in the zone, I would say, a little easier than the Nirnhoned Trait items. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with researching is transmutation crystals and what transmutation is. Now, transmutation is a thing that is more of like a dungeon slash like in-game sort of thing, but it has crafting requirements involved. Like I said, crafting is a huge part of this game. Transmutation tables you can put in your house. You can also find one in Clockwork City, which is right here. If you have that DLC, you'll see the symbol right here, Transmute Station, or if you want to call that. I call them Transmutation just because of the crystals, but Transmute Stations. If you also look at my armor, you will see that they will have a symbol that says Divines. It has a little Transmute symbol. That's because I changed the trait on the item. What it allows you to do with 50 Transmute gems, you can change any trait on an item, on weapons, helmets, anything, to whatever you actually want. The thing is, though, is you have to have that trait researched on that item to be able to do that. So again, researching is so important. I can't say it enough. If you get anything from this video, just remember researching is so important, and it's really helpful in a lot of aspects in the game. Now, motifs. These are the true end game in ESO. I'm just kidding, but really for me, motifs and fashion is the end game. I want to see what you guys think. If you guys think my character looks pretty cool here, but it really is a big deal in MMOs, especially in this game. So there are a ton of motifs that you can actually get in this game, which allow you to look how you want. I'm not going to go super in depth in this just because I will have a costume fashion guide coming out as well, but I'm here to help you understand the ways to get motifs since I didn't really cover it in my beginner guide. Motifs can be acquired by doing daily quests in some zones like Somerset, Morrowind, Elsewhere, and Clockwork City, to name a few places. These are the blue markers above people's heads that will give you world bosses, dolmens, or even delves to do that will net you a coffer, which will give you a chance at getting motif pages. The base motif pages, like the 9 races that can be obtained from looting containers in the base zones, which include basically, Nord, Wood Elf, High Elf, Orc. All of those base ones can be obtained from looting containers. But basically, those 9 motifs and the Ancient Elf, Barbaric, Daedric, and Primal styles, you can just buy from Guild Traders. They are super cheap. They used to be a little more pricey, but that was, a long time ago. But they're very cheap, and I would just basically buy those. But you could also buy any other motif page or book from Guild Traders if you don't feel like grinding them with daily quests. I buy some motifs from traders. Others, I like grinding for them with dailies because it's fun for me. That's not fun for everyone, but it's just something that I enjoy. It's not the most efficient as well, but just keep that in mind. You can grind for them if you want. But sometimes they will run events that allow you to get double drops from zones, and that includes dailies, which will allow you to have more of a chance at motifs. For instance, this summer, I almost completed my Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood motifs from the event they held. And lastly, some motifs can be bought in the actual crown store for a good bit of crowns. As you will see right here, you can buy like a bunch of motifs. When I get to the crafting tab, motifs, they're like 5,000 crowns, which that's pretty expensive, but you can buy them from that if you guys want to. Min-maxing, let's talk about it. I explained a little bit of this in my in-game guide and a little bit in my beginner crafting guide, but min-maxing is essentially squeezing out every bit of stats you can on something, even if it means one more point of magicka to yield the highest and best result possible. So when crafting armor and weapons, make sure to understand who you are crafting it for and what they want. You are almost always going to have to craft CP 160 armor, which is the maxed armor level. Now, you'll see a range from 150 to 160, and you always want to craft 160 unless otherwise stated by someone, but for your sake, you want 160 CP gear. This will use 10 times the amount of materials. If you look, 150 CP uses 12 sandy ruby ash, 160 uses 120 sandy ruby ash. Remember when I told you that you need mats and alts and they're a good idea to have? Well, this is why you need them. If you need them to do writs, you need them to craft armor, because basically it is going to cost a lot of mats to craft a full set of armor for you in the end game, or for training gear, or for people that want that. If you don't have to buy them, it's always very nice. Now, to fully max your gear, it would need to be yellow at the highest enchantment possible. Do you need all yellow gear at the start? Probably not. But realize if you want to min-max, you're going to have to upgrade or improve your gear to yellow with resins. We talked some about resins in the beginner crafting guide. Resins are pricey, or you can call them upgrade mats if you want, but let's look more in depth at what resins are and how much it actually costs. So if you look at this, we are in the clothing screen right here in the improvements screen. I have my burning spellweave breeches up. If I want to upgrade 100% of this piece of armor or medium armor, I would need to use 8 Drew wax for that. As you see, if I lower it to lower than that, it's going to be 87.5%. You can do that, but you're going to lose a lot of money if that doesn't work. But most people do 100% just because it's 100%. So if you do 8 Drew wax, let's take that. Drew wax is about 6.5k each on my trading add-on. So 6 times 8 is 48k for one piece of armor. Then if you were a mage like me or use light armor, you probably have 5 to 6 pieces of armor that are light. So 48k times 6 is roughly around 288k to upgrade one character's armor, not including the helm or shoulder piece to yellow, or the weapons, or putting enchantments on them. That is really pricey. It all goes back to doing writs and why they are important, especially if you can do it on alternate characters. So the resins on other professions are tempering alloy for blacksmithing, rosin for woodworking, chromium plating, which we talked about for jewelry crafting, and kutas are the yellow enchant for enchanting. These are all pretty pricey, but I tell you all of this because you have to decide to yourself, is it worth getting all yellow at the start for all your armor and weapons? I don't think it is. I would start at purple and slowly work your way up, and then you need to make sure you actually like the set you're using. If you don't like it, then you probably don't want to increase it to yellow, because once you do that, you can't really get that back. So make sure you actually like the set before you increase it to yellow. I have a character that's a Warden double bow DPS, and I went back and played it, and I just really am not liking the character. And I increased his beginner in-game gear to yellow, and I feel stupid because I use so many mats on that, and I just I don't even enjoy playing him. So make sure you really like the spec that you're in or the armor, because don't increase it if you're not ready to decide that yet. Now, if you're making a set for someone else, the typical etiquette for crafting is they will supply you with the mats like Drew wax, or just the raw mats in general, or they will pay you to get them for you. Some people will also tip, which is really nice because it does take a little while of time to do a full set for someone. Now, I want to go into some specific tips for a few skills that may be confusing for you. I would say if you watch my beginner guide, jewelry crafting, woodworking, blacksmithing, clothing, and provisioning are all pretty easy to grasp once you are taught a few things, but I will say alchemy and enchanting are a little more confusing, so I'm going to try to help you a little bit here with that. So you'll see these add-ons, craft store and potion maker, really make things a lot easier for these skills, but basically with alchemy, the liquids or solvents that you have are just like the ores in blacksmithing. You can see the level that it makes poisons or potions, and obviously when you get to the last one, Lorcan's Tears is a 150 CP potion, and Alkest is a 150 CP poison. Now, traits will be unknown at first when you have things called regents. You'll have to make potions, poisons to learn these traits, or you can go to your craft bag and you can actually take it out. So you can take, like, if you have like an alchemy item here, you can take one of these out by retrieve, and then you can actually use it in your inventory, and you'll learn a trait that you do not know on it yet. So that's the easiest way if you want to 100% try to learn something, because if you try to make a potion and it fails, then you lose that and you don't learn a trait. So keep that in mind to learning traits. And another thing I will say that I didn't mention at the beginning of the guide is, if you guys don't have ESO Plus, crafting is really, like, it's just really, really annoying sometimes, because you do run out of space very easily with all the crafting mats. So I almost would say it's so worth getting ESO Plus for $15 a month, and you get 1,650 crowns every month to get the craft bag. Just for the craft bag, you get a lot of other stuff too. You get all the DLC, all that, but it is really worth it in my opinion. If you do get that, you'll get the craft bag, and it makes your life a lot easier. So just wanted to throw that in there in case you guys don't have ESO Plus. Now, the key to alchemy is to match these traits up with other corresponding traits that match. So if they're red, then that means that it's not going to make a successful potion or poison. So that's just something you want to look out for. If you have this add-on, you can actually like search right here, and it tells you things, the materials that you have. Like, see this red right here? That's not fitting with Ravage Stamina and Restore Stamina, so it's not going to make a potion. You can look here. These are traits we don't know, and the red is like, red and green just show you like what's not max amp, because that's like a poison and that's like a potion trait. And so it takes all your materials that you have, and it makes potions that you don't know yet. So that's why this add-on is so great. But if you don't have that, again, just try to match up the traits that you have with other items, and that's how you make certain potions. You can also look that up somewhere. If you look for a certain potion, just type it into Google or something, and you can probably find what potion you need and what materials you need for it. Now, the most powerful potions are tri-stat ones, which have 3 regents that give you 3 buffs when you consume it. These are used a lot for raids and higher end content. If you have this add-on, it allows you, again, to make potions a whole lot easier. So just, again, if you're able to, download it. If not, don't worry about it. You'll just have to do it the old school way. Now, we are going to go over to the enchanting table, and I'm going to kind of explain to you this as well. Again, this add-on is really helpful because it shows you like all the glyphs that you can make, and if you can choose like the rarity and everything, which is really, really nice. But for this sake, if you don't have the add-on, we'll kind of go into the more classic creating of runes. So just know that aspect runes determine the rarity of the enchantment. They also increase the power of it. So if you were to create a glyph of health that's yellow, you're going to get 954 maximum health. But if you do a purple one, you're going to get 882 maximum health. Okay, that's what these do right here, these aspect runes. The potency runes increase the level that is required for the armor to be enchanted. So if you were to have a level 10 potency rune, it would require a minimum level of 160 CP. So keep that in mind with potency runes. And then essence runes are the type of enchantment. So whether it be a health one, whether it be a damage stamina, whether it be a fire one, whether it be a frost damage one, that's what essence runes are for. Now, the most expensive rune, or one that's like used a lot for certain armor and certain builds, is a prismatic glyph, and these are Heyo runes. I don't know if I pronounce that right, but they're around 15k each, and these create armor glyph of prismatic defense and weapon glyph of prismatic onslaught, which are really good. So keep that in mind there. And also, if you want to min-max, you will have to craft yellow ones, because that will give you the highest possible power level that you can on an armor or weapon piece. So just keep that in mind. And also a tip for leveling enchanting, because it can take a little bit to level. If you can help it, any glyphs that you make yourself that you don't want anymore for leveling, try to give them to a friend or a guildmate, because deconstructing your own glyphs that you make will only give you a fraction of XP it would give your friend or guildmate. So that's just a little small tip to help someone else out with enchanting. Also, I will be posting a power leveling guide for alchemy and provisioning. So just stay tuned for that, everyone. That will be out on the channel at some point. Lastly, let's talk about places to craft. I personally love Alinar. I mean, just look at it. It's beautiful. It's not too far away from the Raise Shrines. Elden Root is my close second, but make sure to find a place that's close to you or that you like that you can deconstruct and do your writs at. Also, your house or guild house is another great place to craft. You can buy crafting tables from the Master Writ Merchant, which I showed you earlier, and you can put those in your house. You can also buy attunable tables, which allow you to attune that table into any set you want. So if there's a popular set that you want in your house to craft training sets or to craft in-game for, you can put it in your house. You can have people in your guild come and craft. You can craft it yourself. But the quickest and most efficient way to do crafting is to craft in your house, because it is so close. You can put it as close as you want, and it's just easy. But if you get bored, step outside, get some fresh air, and go to Alinar, in my opinion, because it's a beautiful place. Also, we have a guild at Brawley Got This, and it's called Necro Daddies. I know that's hilarious. I know you guys will love that name, but anyone is welcome to join. I will be making my house a guild house for people to craft at and hang out. We also do PvE and other things as well. That is going to be things that people want to do. So you guys can join that. Just let me know in game, and I'm King Bra in game, so you guys can let me know and I can get you in the guild. But that's going to wrap up this guide, everyone. Thanks again for watching. Please let me know if I missed anything. I tried to cover more advanced material in this, and I hope I got as much of it as I could, but please let me know in the comments if there's something I missed, or there's just something that you think I should add to it. Again, if you guys want to join the guild, you can. Look out for our future ESO guides, including provision, alchemy, power leveling guides, housing guides, costume and fashion guides, and much more. And if you guys ever want to watch me play live, I play at twitch.tv/BrawWeGotThis. That is Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 7 Eastern Standard Time. This week it's going to be Wednesday because of Thanksgiving, not Thursday. But you guys can check me out there. And again, leave a like. It helps us out a lot, and leave any comments that can help us out to make better material for you guys. But just remember to have faith, be great, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.